People often ask before the Nanking massacre, why didn't the civilians just run? Unveiling the truth of history. It is cold and harsh. Those who could flee had already left. Only a wealthy and well-connected few managed to escape. From June to November 1937, the population of Nanking was cut in half. Yet, Chiang Kai-shek insisted that the Japanese army would never take the city. He didn't announce the move of the capital to Chongqing until October, when it's too late. To the east, Japanese forces advanced. To the west, the Yangtze River stood as a barrier. Ferry tickets skyrocketed to impossible prices. And who could have known the scale of inhuman brutality that was to come? Many were left in desperate, waiting to be slaughtered. But was there any chance to live? Japanese army stormed Nanking. They burned, looted, and slaughtered without mercy. Amid the horror, one place became the last refuge, the International Safety Zone. Created by a German businessman, John Rabe, it sheltered as many as 250,000 Chinese civilians. Rabe's name was nearly lost to history. A Chinese-American writer, Iris Chang, through years of research, finally unearthed his diaries that had been hidden in a cellar in Berlin. In 1995, while researching the Nanking massacre, Iris Chan kept seeing the name Rabe. She sensed he was a critical witness to the truth, so she went all the way to Germany. With much efforts, she eventually got in touch with Rabe's granddaughter. In 1996, the world was shocked by the long-sealed 2,117 pages of raw testimony. The diaries cover 6 months, beginning September 1937. They record in detail the Japanese atrocities in Nanking and include incident reports from the Safety Zone Committee, documents from the Red Cross and embassies, correspondence, and more than 80 photos. Together, they form an unshakable chain of evidence. The Nanking massacre is an undeniable fact, recognized worldwide. After World War II, both the Tokyo Tribunal and Chinese war crimes trials sentenced key Japanese commanders and even those who held killing contests to death. Yet, in Japan, right-wing groups still slander these trials as victors' justice, dismiss journalists as biased, and even claim the massacre was a fabrication. Recently, a former Japanese soccer star spewed such rhetoric. That's Japan's long-standing attitude. But Rabe's record, written by a German and at the time a Nazi party member, deals a fatal blow to denial. His identity left Japanese revisionists speechless. When Nanking fell, Rabe, Siemens general representative in the city, rushed back to lead refugee protection in the safety zone. After the war, Allied corps ruled, he was not truly a Nazi, precisely because of his heroic rescue of 250,000 Chinese civilians. But the guardian of truth paid a heavy price. On the 13th of April, 1938, Rabe returned to Germany. Tormented by what he had witnessed, he could not stay silent. From May 2 to May 25, less than 2 weeks after returning, he gave 5 speeches at places, including the German Foreign Ministry. He laid out evidence of Japanese atrocity. On the 8th of June, he even sent Hitler himself a 260-page report on the massacre. For this, Rabe was arrested by the Gestapo, interrogated for 3 days, and ordered to keep quiet. Siemens dare not give him another good post. His family's life slid into hardship. In November 1943, their home in Berlin was destroyed in the Allied bombings. By 1945, as the war ended, 3-year-old Rabe and his family had no income, surviving on nettles and acorn porridge. In 1948, word of his suffering reached Nanking. Those he once sheltered did not forget. The Nanking Senate set up a Rabe Relief Committee, raising $2,000 for him. Later, people of Nanking sent more milk powder, sausages, beef, butter, jam. Rabe was deeply moved, saying the help from Nanking rekindled his hope. In January 1950, John Rabe died of a stroke at age 67. Before passing, he entrusted 8 carefully organized volumes of his diary to his family, and the bond endured. His grandson, Thomas Rabe, became a professor at Heidelberg University's medical school. In 2014, he was invited as a guest professor at Beijing Obstetrics and Gynecology Hospital. In 2015, he received the medal of the 70th anniversary of China's victory in the War of Resistance against Japan. In 2018, he was honored with China's Friendship Award. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, he appealed to China's ambassador in Germany for medical supplies, and China responded immediately. The spirit of mutual aid carried forward the warmth of history. On the 80th anniversary of the victory against fascism, we recall Rabe's act of light in the darkest times. We remember history's truest echoes. Rabe once wrote helplessly, "Even if we work twice as hard, we cannot stop the Japanese slaughter." Minnie Vautrin, another rescuer in Nanking, lamented in her diary, "In the end, I still failed." That sense of powerlessness belonged not only to them, but to millions of Asian people under Japanese fascist terror. What is the true nature of war? How could Japanese soldiers commit such inhuman atrocities in China, then return home, don human masks, and live as kind fathers, polite citizens? These crimes were not random lapses of morality. They were the product of a society steeped in militarism, nationalism, and collective silence. The ambition to invade China was no sudden impulse of 1931 or 1894. As early as the 16th century, Toyotomi Hideyoshi dreamed of conquering Korea, then China, then India, to build an Asian empire. At 1887, Japan's general staff had already drafted plans for a war against China. In the 20th century, militarism and ultra-nationalism dominated society. Schools, media, even religion, all hammered in ideas of the emperor's divinity, national superiority, and the justice of war. Invasion was glorified as liberation. Expansion and conquest were sanctified as national destiny, hallucinating the whole society. 80 years have passed, yet the warning bell still tolls. The butchers never truly laid down their knives. The victims' grievances are still unavenged. Survivors' dignity is still unprotected. And the guilty grow fat on the spoils of war. Any easy talk of forgiveness or forgetting is a second wound to the dead, a betrayal of historical justice. The Nanking massacre stands as ironclad evidence of history. Justice must never be forgotten.